The vintage has failed completely. First and foremost, giving all praise, glory, and honor that's due to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Bahashim, Rachak Kodash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect. Shalom Barakatum. And I'm going to play a couple clips to show you where I'm going here, because America is basically wounded on all sides. Everybody's complaining. Everybody's crying out. Even the unrighteous, even the wicked are crying out. That's how you know that we're at the end. Let's listen to a little bit of this on the education front, okay?
A former English teacher going viral after posting a raw and unfiltered farewell video as she leaves the classroom behind after just 3 years. Listen.
A lot of these kids don't know how to read because they have had things read to them, or they can click a button and have something read out loud to them. I just don't think these kids even care. They don't care about making a difference in the world. They don't care about how to have a resume.
Keep in mind, this woman said a lot of kids can't read, okay? Now, this is going into the high school level, I believe, where she teaches, and she quit after a few years because even the education thing, it's all waxed worse and worse, okay? The earth is yielding less, okay? The bars, the mirth, everything is at a low level. The education is at a low level, okay? People's ability, their attention spans, the quality of women, the quality of men, the quality of money, everything is decayed. Okay, I'm gonna let her keep going. I'll find a precept here.
They don't care how to write a resume. They don't care how to write a cover letter because ChatGPT will just do it for them. And I think that we need to cut off technology from these kids, probably until they go to college.
Hannah is a former teacher, and she joins us now. She posted that video. More than 1 million people have seen it, Hannah, probably more by the time we're on this morning. Why did you post that video?
I'm going to keep this quick, so I'm going to get these precepts real quick in. This is Jeremiah chapter 25, all right, verse 10. It says, "Moreover, I will take from them the voice of mirth, and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride, all right, the sound of millstones and the light of the candle, and this whole land shall be a desolation and an astonishment, and these nations shall serve the king of Babylon 70 years." Okay, so you can see that we went through this before. And what the Most High does is he smites the things that you take joy and that you take pleasure in, okay? Because you're doing it out of rebellion. You're experiencing joy in life. You took the shortcut, okay, which is what sin is, okay? Sin is a transgression of the law, but it's basically a shortcut. It's a way for you to siphon off a form of life out of order, okay? It's usually at the expense of somebody else. Like if you steal, that's a sin, right? But you're getting a shortcut version of what you could have got if you had plowed, okay, if you had sown, okay? You're getting the form of life, but it's a shortcut and it's at somebody else's expense, okay? This makes it a problem, and ultimately, America is founded on that, okay? It's founded on taking shortcuts. Even modern day conveniences, people are addicted to. It's nothing but shortcuts, man. That's why the men have waxed weak. The women have decayed. All right, they'll look the other way. Esau could be bombing the hell out of the entire world. The average American could give a damn because they got their comforts. They're okay with using that shortcut, even though they know it's wicked. You see, and so this is a cancer. It's a social cancer that goes throughout the population, and everything becomes weak and atrophied. Okay. Over the course of a period of time. But it says, I will take, and it says, the main point I wanted to highlight here, it says, and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom, and the voice of the bride. Okay, who is the bride and the bridegroom? Okay, that's Yahweh Shai and his elect. Okay, and ultimately, we're going to be silenced in the sense that the Lord is going to withdraw us. That goes into Jacob's trouble. Okay. And that really goes into the time of where you have, you know, mirth and partying and things of that nature. That's all gonna go away, man. That's a precept to Isaiah 24. Okay, but I'll go back to Isaiah 32. Let me see. That's what that precept there was. Hold on. Bear with me. Okay. This place is out of here, man. Okay. I'll play a little bit more of this video as well.
So I taught for 3 years, as I said in my video. I wasn't always a teacher. I actually started my career in digital marketing. So I've been in the digital world for about 5 years now, or since I've graduated. And throughout the 3 years, I've taught digital arts classes and I've taught an English class. And I would say that in all of my teaching experience, technology has posed quite a challenge. And with AI becoming so accessible to children nowadays, especially teaching in an English or Core 4 classroom, it's been especially challenging kind of to have the kids comprehend and critical think and think for themselves on certain things.
Yeah.
So on my way out, I wanted to kind of raise awareness and just let people know how AI and technology is affecting their children these days.
Yeah, and I'm gonna play a little bit more from this video, a different video. This is in the, it's in the
I have an
UK.
episode here from CHCO. It says London is finished. Get out while you can.
That's how, when you get to 65, if you've not looked after yourself financially, you're going to be in trouble. Physically, you're in trouble. Mentally in trouble, and also with your family. Because there's a lot of men now who are 65 and have got no one around them. Do you think you stay here until 60? I don't intend to be here in the next year.
Yeah.
I don't intend to be in this country. This country is rubbish. No. People are just pretending. No. You're working literally to pay your bills. And it wasn't like that years ago. So when people say, oh, but you're meant to work. Yes, you're meant to work. But when I was looking at some stats, in the 1980s, the average home was 200 and... Let me find it now. And now,
And the point of it is now is you are meant to work, but the work is fruitless. It's futile. There's no end in sight. Okay, you should. If you work 20 years, it really shouldn't even matter what you do for a living. If you put in 20 years of work, you should be good for the rest of your life. You should have a bunch of kids. As a matter of fact, you should have expanded the business that your father left you. You know, your lot. You get portions of things, you know, with inheritances, you know, but there's no concept of owning land here in America or in the West. Okay, there's no concept of earning real wealth because it's all siphoned back out of you with the witchcraft of the US dollar. Okay, he can make you up. It doesn't matter how diligent you were with saving. He's inflating the currency, so everything costs more today. So what does that do? That eats away at everything you saved. Okay, it's like a moth. Okay, and I'll get that in James 5 real quick. It's like a moth that eats away the wealth. You might have been working 60 hours a week for a good 20 years, and now that means nothing because your purchasing power has gone down because of how much money's flooded the market with, okay? You know, that's an unjust balance. And so these people are going to get to a breaking point, okay? But this is Habakkuk 3:17. It says, although the fig tree shall not blossom, neither shall fruit be in the vines, the labor of the olive tree shall fail. Okay, so you're gonna have fruit, but it's not gonna be enough. Okay, the scriptures liken it to a man that I'll try to find that with a hole in his bag. You know, you're gathering fruit with a hole in your bag, man. You know, it says the labor of the olive shall fail, and the field shall yield no meat. The flock shall be cut off from the fold, and there shall be no herd in the stalls. All right, so you got all the infrastructures for it, you know, but there's no fruit in it. Where is it going? You're being robbed by the devil. Okay, let me see if I can find that precept. Yep, Haggai 1:6. It says, ye have sown much and bring in little. Okay, you see how a house used to cost only twice as much as your salary. So if you make 50 grand a year, the average house should really cost 100,000. The average house, Okay, the average house should cost $100,000 if the average wage is $50,000. Okay, but how much does a house cost now? It's over $400,000 the average, over $400,000. That means the average salary should be over $200,000. You see, or anybody making anywhere near that? Where did the money go? It should be easier than ever to make a house, but you see, this thing is failing, and people are slowly realizing it, but they don't understand this is all prophecy coming to pass. They just think we're having a recession or an economic downturn, you know, a bump in the road. No, the Lord has a vengeful spirit against this place, and he's gonna slowly cook you. Okay, but this is Habakkuk, Salakia, Haggai 1:6. Ye have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes. All right. So that is what we have. You know, this isn't gonna get better for you people. This is done by design because the wicked are in authority. Okay. And by what means are they doing this? This is Proverbs 11. Should be 11:1. Yep, Proverbs 11:1. It says, a false balance is an abomination to the Lord Yahweh, but a just weight is his delight. Okay, and this is a false balance. Okay, you're like, look over here. A dollar, it still has the number 1 assigned to it, $1. But if you look at the real value of it, it's like 0.004 or 0.03 or something like that. That's what it's really worth. It's probably less than that. It's probably worth two pennies from what it was originally worth, but it still says $1. And people don't get it. They don't understand the money because it's designed that way to be complicated. And they're like, what's going on? What's happening? You know? And women don't realize this has affected dating. This has affected everything. Okay, your ability to raise children. Okay, why is it 40 grand to give birth? Okay, when you have more medical advancements than ever, you have more medical equipment. Okay, you got more information than ever. You see, the Lord got to come back and deal with these people. All right, justly and swiftly. Because it's evaporating. Okay, this is James 5 and 2. It says, your riches are corrupted and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as if it were fire. Ye have heaped treasures together for the last days. All right, and the NLT verse 3 says, your gold and silver have become worthless. The very wealth you were counting on will eat away your flesh like fire. This treasure you have accumulated will stand as evidence against you on the day of judgment. Okay, so there is still treasure here, but you don't have access to it. Okay, there is still gold, but it ain't in Fort Knox. Okay, whatever they told you, they lied, man. Okay, Esau Edom is the real ruler of the earth. And people don't want to come to grips with that. Esau done away with. Well, how the hell do you explain these psychopaths running around, bombing everything, poisoning all the food, the air, the water for no reason? Okay, making up monopoly money when you shouldn't even really need money like that with all of this economic growth through technology. Okay, you got tractors now. You got being able to start a farm. You should be able to, man. Everybody should have their own business. You shouldn't even really need to go in these centralized supermarkets and grocery stores to get everything. Okay, you shouldn't even need that, but he's got you here. Why? Because he's spoiling you. Okay, and how did he make sure to stay that way? By binding the strong man. In Matthew 12:29, it says, bind the strong man, then you can enter into his house. Okay, and spoil his goods, and the goods are the women and the children. Okay. And now you have widespread degeneracy everywhere. Okay, this is gonna get way worse. You know.
The UK is what? Your house. It's the BK. We're finished. This country, we're working just to pay bills.
Yeah.
One of the men to Italy. I'm officially done.
So this country's going to live if let's say you don't have money, right?
What? Yeah.
But I was gonna say to you, like, what would you say it's good if you have money? Like, where would you say like the top places to live if you do have money?
Okay, so I haven't done enough research to be able to give that. All I can go by is what I've seen in England and then the small I've seen in Atlanta when I went, and in Ghana when I've been.
He goes on for a minute explaining it, but it's bad. Finish it off here. Isaiah 32:10. Many years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail. The gathering shall not come. So whatever you trusted in, whether it's a political candidate, whether it's your ability to buy real estate, okay, whether it's your trust in the sword or a weapon, whatever you've been putting, whatever basket you've been putting your eggs in, it's gonna fail, okay? Because the Lord is visiting this place. That's what's happening. It ain't a recession or depression. Yeah, those things manifest, okay? But this is a symptom of something much larger, pursuing the second edge of the 9th chapter, where the highest will begin to visit the world in which he made, man. So with that, Lord willing, this is edifying. Call for Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rachakwadah Shalom. Come Yasharallah, on to the next.